Now, I was going to talk this week about something completely different. I was going to talk about what I think the Red Sox should do for the rest of free agency. And I don't really think that I've done anything like that on this channel before. And I was really, really excited about doing it. But now, I really don't even want to. Because what has happened over the last couple of days with the Red Sox has thrown me through a loop so badly that I now have decided to just be angry and tell you guys about it. That's pretty much what I'm doing. So if you're not the kind of person that wants to hear Tyler get angry, then oh well, because it's going to happen. I am so angry with the Red Sox right now. Now, it's not for the reason that a lot of other people are upset with the Red Sox right now, and that's for letting Xander Bogaerts go. Yes, that does hurt me. That is sad because I love Xander Bogaerts. He's won 2 World Series titles with us. He's been with us for a decade. I didn't want to see him go. But I said in my, my video last week, I don't think that it was a good idea to match that contract, so I think it was actually the right thing to not re-sign him if that was the contract that was on the table for him for the Padres. I think it was the smart thing to do. It would have just been a horrible contract. So that's not why I'm upset. Here's why I'm upset. A couple of days ago, might have even been yesterday, I can't even remember, it all kind of blends together at this point, the Red Sox designated for assignment, DFA'd, Jeter Downs. Now, if you know who Jeter Downs is, or I should say, if you don't know who Jeter Downs is, let me give you a rundown. No pun intended. Jeter Downs was the main prospect that the Red Sox received in the Mookie Betts trade. So we got, obviously, Alex Verdugo, who was the major league ready young player that you will probably need back in a trade like that. And then the big-time prospect that the Red Sox got was Jeter Downs, a shortstop. He was going to be the quote-unquote shortstop of the future, or he was going to be the second baseman in the future for the Red Sox. Well, he just got designated for assignment. He's not even on the roster anymore, which is hysterical because there are like 3 or 4 levels of the minor leagues. And you didn't want to put him in double A or single A or high A or any of that. He was so awful that you just let him go. Is that right, Red Sox? Okay, well, obviously the Mookie Betts trade wasn't a good one anyway. Unless Jeter Downs turned into some all-star and Alex Verdugo continued to be as good as he is, then, maybe that trade would end up looking good a couple years from now, maybe. But now that he's not even on the Red Sox anymore, that trade looks awful. And I thought that was enough. I was like, man, that bothers me. But you know what? That wasn't enough for me to completely change the way I was going to do my podcast today. What made me change was something that literally happened like 2 or 3 hours ago at the time of recording this. The Red Sox also designated for assignment Eric Hosmer. Now, Eric Hosmer, not the best player at this point anymore in his career. He was serviceable last year and had a solid year the year before, but other than that, he hasn't really done much the last few years after he got that big contract from San Diego. But you traded away your best pitching prospect to get him. Now, I don't know if you are aware, but the Red Sox pitching last year was about as effective as my best friend Kevin going out there and throwing with the hand on his right hand that has a nub on it. That's about as effective as the Red Sox pitching staff was last year. Their bullpen was awful. Their starting rotation was awful. Everything was awful. The Red Sox bullpen, no one in it had more than 8 saves. Kenley Jansen, who just signed over to the Red Sox, had 41 saves last year by himself. And if you talk to a Braves fan, they'll tell you that he had a horrible year with 41 saves. That's 5 times the amount anyone on the Red Sox had. And he had a bad year. That's how bad the Red Sox were. Seriously, I'm not making this up. So you traded your best pitching prospect. Now, granted, Jay Groom's dealt with injuries. He's been a reliever in the minors. He's been a starter in the minors. He hasn't really lived up to that first round billing that you would have hoped for. But he's still 25 years old. He still had a shot. And he was still your number one pitching prospect in your organization. And you traded him away when you are in a rebuilding year to get a guy whose, contract was awful, admittedly. And I can guarantee you that that's probably why they designated him for assignment. They might bring him back on a better contract maybe, but I doubt it at this point. Not like anybody's going to claim him. So you traded away your best pitching prospect to get a third of a season from Eric Hosmer, who's making a ton of money, and that's it in a rebuilding year when you're not making a postseason run. He's not Kyle Schwarber, and this isn't 2021. When the Red Sox traded for Kyle Schwarber at the trade deadline in 2021, that made sense because they were in first place or second place in the East at that point. They were competing for a World Series. They needed a left-handed bat. They needed a thumper at the top and at the in the heart of their order. They needed a guy like that, and it turned out great. Now I wish that we would have kept him because I think he led the NL in home runs last year. But such is life. It happens, right? That made sense. Trading your best pitching prospect in a rebuilding year for 1/3 of a season of Eric Hosmer, not exactly a world-beating bat or glove at this point, and on a terrible contract in a year where you were last place in the division with the Orioles in it. What sense does that make? Even if you were to keep him on a terrible contract, I would be confused. I'd be like, why? But at least you could say, hey, I got 2 years out of Eric Hosmer. I guess that's better than a third of a year giving up your best pitching prospect. That's what's bothering me. It doesn't even seem to be a direction or any sense to any of this. Again, I don't think the Red Sox should have re-signed Xander Bogaerts for a contract that was bigger than the Padres contract. I don't. But God almighty, save me and my soul if Rafael Devers leaves. If Rafael Devers leaves, I'm just going to walk right into Shane Bloom's office and say, all right, what the hell's your plan? Because I don't even have a guess. I don't even have a guess at this point. Right now, sitting here, I don't even have a guess. But if he lets Devers walk out the door, I'm going to look at him and be like, hey, what boxes did this guy not check? Was he a terrible batter? No. Was he a terrible fielder? Not anymore. Was he old and decrepit and declining? No, he's like 25. If he leaves, God help us all. God help Red Sox Nation, because there's going to be riots in the streets. You're telling me you're going to let Mookie go. You're going to let Xander go. You're going to let Devers go, and you're going to keep... Who knows? There's no one even to keep at this point. There's no one left. JD Martinez, you're going to keep JD Martinez until he's 45? I don't know. Hey guys, me again. Thank you so much for watching one of my clips from the Lopes Goes Last podcast. These clips are so much fun to do. I absolutely love making them, and I absolutely love doing them. And this podcast is my baby, so I really want this thing to grow, and I really want it to succeed. So if you did like what you see, please subscribe. Also hit that bell notification so you never miss any one of my episodes or one of my clips like this one. And please do also like and share these videos with your friends and your family so that we can make this thing grow as fast as possible. And I wanted to thank you again so much. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video and have a great rest of your day.